this is Pete, and this great little beast that you see here behind me is the brand new Uberscoot SX 1200 watt scooter. Now, I've got to tell you, I'm loving these things, and this one was purchased from Scooter Online Australia, pretty good company too. I'll talk to you about them in a minute. Electric scooters are getting pretty popular. Let's have a little bit of a look around this one. Now, the very first thing you're going to notice is that these things are quite large, and I've got to tell you, they are quite heavy. Now, these scooters with the wet cell or lead acid batteries weigh in at about 45 k's, so they are pretty hefty, let me tell you, and they are quite difficult to fold up and load into the boot of your car. But I'll talk to you once again about that shortly too. Quite well constructed. I don't really think these are a toy for kids though. I think they're more for adults. Righto, let's get up close and personal. Now, one of the very first things you're going to notice about these is that they do have a nice big wheel on them. They do have some fantastic disc brakes set up there, and there's also some front suspension there that's kind of works okay. It's not great, but you know, for a medium price scooter, it's probably some pretty good features. The brakes are quite harsh, let me tell you, and you do need to get used to them. You can see the rear suspension set up here. It does work quite well. Now, I'm about 100 kilo. I do find it does tend to bottom out a little bit over bumps, but nothing that you can't live with. And there's that nice flash set of rear disc brakes. So it's pretty unusual for a scooter in this price range to have front and rear disc brakes. As I said, they work pretty well. You just got to get used to them. They can pull you up in a big hurry if you hit them a bit too hard. Now, to those of you that know a little bit about electric scooters, you'll notice that most of them have got a little hub motor just here, and then they have a chain that runs down and drives the rear wheel. Sorry, they've got an electric motor just here. These machines, or this particular model anyway, is designed more for range rather than performance, and they have an inbuilt hub motor. Now, the thing I love about hub motors is that they're virtually maintenance free. There is no chain, and there's really nothing that can go wrong with them. Now, having said that, they're not as powerful as a chain-driven motor, but they apparently have a lot longer range. They come with a fairly bright headlight, which works fairly well, and a horn, believe it or not. Yeehaw! And of course, here's your front and rear brakes. There's also a little battery meter here. I'll talk to you more about that in a minute. One thing to note here, guys, it's actually a fairly poor design. You can see how the rear nut slides in, like slides the axle in that way, and if that rear nut comes loose, it means that your wheel is going to fall off. And they recommend when you buy these scooters, they actually send you a little tube of Loctite, and they actually recommend that you Loctite these rear nuts down. Now, I would encourage you to go ahead and do that, because I didn't, and the wheel actually came off on the very first day I had it. I've since had that resolved, but a much better design would have been to have this slot here facing that way, so that even if the nut came off, the wheels wouldn't slip off the back. It'd rattle, and you'd know that it was loose, but it wouldn't actually fall off. Anyway, that's just something for the next model Uberscoot. You guys at Uberscoot, hey, get that design right. Let's see how this bad boy goes. I wonder how I'm going to look in my silly fucking hat. Don't forget, gang, safety first. You always got to wear a skid lid. Figure out how this works. How do I look? Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Let's go for a ride. Righto, well, been up and down the street a few times. So, what's my impression of the Uberscoot SX 1200 watt? Well, I've actually had this scoot for about a week now, and I've been riding it to and from work. I've got to tell you, they are a whole ton of fun. Now, depending on what review you read, they say that they range from 20 kilometres range on a battery charge to 45 kilometres range. So I weigh about 100 kilos, so I'm pretty heavy. Now the maximum weight for one of these, or this particular model, is 120 kilos, so I come in within that budget. But bear in mind that I am carrying my backpack and my laptop and my gear for work, so I'm probably getting close to 110 kilo maybe. So I found that the 45 kilometre range, never going to happen. Now I've got the wet cell batteries for this. You can upgrade to lithium ion batteries, which apparently they double the price of the scooter. They're about $800 just on their own, but apparently they will give you that 40-45 kilometre range. So I found at about 18 kilometres the scooter starts to slow down, and once it starts to slow down, you've only got about another kilometre after that before it stops altogether. Now it's not a good idea to run your batteries, particularly with lead acid batteries, to run them flat. So it doesn't do your batteries any good. Now the top speed, once again, depending on what website or what review you look at, they say the top speed is up to 40 kilometres an hour. Alright, so this one carrying a 100 kilo rider, like myself, has a top speed of 31 kilometres an hour on the flat. Now, let me tell you, the hills do knock them about a little bit, even though it's a 1200 watt motor. On gradual inclines are okay, but on a steep hill, it does tend to pull them up, and sometimes you have to give them a bit of a kick along. But certainly for urban riders and riding around most urban environments, you shouldn't have an issue. On the straight and downhills, it goes really, really well. So they cost $800. You can find them online a little bit cheaper, but I would encourage you, if you wanted to buy one of these, I would encourage you to talk to the boys from Scooter Online Australia. They're an Aussie bunch. They respond to their emails very, very quickly. I had a couple of little minor issues with this on the first day I had it, and they sorted it out straight away. So I'll put the link in the description down here, and I'll also put the website and some reviews on these things. They're not too bad. Now, here's the million-dollar question that everybody wants to know. Can you legally ride these things on the road? Well, the answer is no. You can't legally ride them on the road, and you can't legally ride them in parks and on bikeways. So they're really designed as an off-road or private property vehicle only. Now, having said that, I've been poking along to work, as I said, every day for the last week, and I've passed coppers twice. Just been poking along nice and steady, and here's the secret, just riding nice and slow on the footpath, and they haven't even given me a second look. So you'd have to be pretty unlucky, I'd think, or get a pretty rat shit copper to pull you over and book you. Alright, but with regards to fun factor, oh yeah, 10 out of 10. Go out and buy yourself an Uberscoot, guys. You won't regret it. They're a whole ton of fun. Love yous. See you next time.